Women held accountable. Total chaos ensues. I've cried every day. Fired federal worker protest cuts because they weren't doing any work and getting free paychecks. If you ever wondered why all these women are coming out of college and they're strong, empowered females, and, well, it turns out all these strong, empowered females that have worthless degrees, well, they're going to work for the government and getting free paychecks, everybody. This whole thing started a few days ago. And again, I was going to do this story last week, but I like to wait for the proper meltdowns. Make sure we get all the meltdown interviews. Make sure that we get the video of the people coming out of their jobs fired as they're hanging their heads and crying. That's what I wanted to share with you. I may not be the first to the story, but I do bring you the most entertainment out of it. So as you guys know, from Elon Musk, he sent this out just last week or the week before. He said, consistent with President Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got last week, or they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. And then this was the email that got sent out. Please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. Please do not send any classified information, leaks, or attachment. Deadline is this Monday at noon. Excuse me, 11:59 p.m. is midnight. So this was sent out, I think, Friday afternoon. It might have been sent out Saturday. It gave them basically Saturday, Sunday, and all of Monday until midnight to check their email and realize, okay, now, as some of you know, I used to work as a network engineer. I worked for a company named Cisco, CISCO, not the SYSCO food, but the CISCO, which is routers and switches and security, a bunch of stuff, right? Cisco's a very large American company that kind of does that stuff. Every week, now we did get to work from home occasionally, usually once a week. Every Friday, we were AIS, ass and seat, and we had to sit down with our manager saying, what did we do for the week? What did we accomplish? What do we have on our plates? What is the hot topic? What's the big fire we need to put out? And what we're going to get started on Monday. And while we had these group discussions with our teams, we did this every Friday without fail. If for some reason we got a Friday off because of work from home type of thing, we never got it off. But I mean, you didn't have to come in the office, work from home. We still had a virtual call. We still went through our round robin of what happened, what's giving you problems, what do you need help with, and what are you doing Monday? These people get one email in their entire government career. Give me 5 things you accomplished last week, and they literally had a hissy fit. That is the only way to describe it. They had a complete and utter meltdown. And which ones had the meltdown? The women. I did not see one interview by a man who got asked this. Every single one of them was an entitled Karen. Every single one of them. And so we now have some video from those women that we will now enjoy together. Benny Johnson says federal worker says she got behind on all her work because she was threatened and harassed by the simple email asking for 5 tasks she completed that week. But this one question, and the woman's like, I got behind on all my work for the week because I had to answer these 5 questions. What are you smoking?
The email that came out wanting us to justify our jobs with 5 things we did last week was on Saturday night. And I was literally working on Saturday night to make up for all the distractions I had had the previous week, which came from the executive branch. And so I'm working, trying to catch up on things, and then I get that email on top of it. It's very hard to keep your train of thought when you're getting threatened and harassed like that.
Threatened and harassed like this. Let's look at this. Please email 5 things what you did last week. Don't send anything classified. Deadline is Monday. I'm failing to see the part where I'm failing to see the part where the threat. Go cry, Karen. And you know why they're scared, honestly? Do you know why they're scared? Because nobody else will hire them because they're worthless. Honestly. I've had resumes. I actually was one of the people that hired for my particular team at Cisco. Only mostly because not because I'm smart. Trust me. Definitely not because I'm smart, but because I'm somewhat personable and I can talk to people and make them very comfortable, and they tend to relax in an interview, and then you can get more honest answers out of them because once they feel comfortable, they let their guard down a little bit, and then you can ask them a question that they don't know how to answer, and gotcha, bitch. And so that's why I was on the interview team. And you would talk to somebody like this and their resume would look great. And then because it says something like revise the system to save 30% of cost cutting, blah, blah, blah. And then you start drilling down into that. So tell me about this cost cutting 30%. What were the metrics that you used to calculate? How did you, and all of a sudden they're like, you realize they completely lied on their resume. So that's what I was brought in for. Anyway, you know these women are not going to find another job. Another Karen. USAID workers cry as they leave their workplace or workspace for the last time. One tears the tape covering the USAID lettering in a bizarre act of defiance. The sense of entitlement and petulance out of this group of adults is exactly why they shouldn't be working for the American people. Listen to these Karens. Listen to the Karenness. Oh, the Karen is flowing. So delicious.
I've been telling myself I'm not going to cry today because I don't want to give them that satisfaction. I think a lot of hurt and disrespect. The way that this was done was very dehumanizing.
Hurt and disrespect and dehumanizing. Please reply to this email with 5 bullet points. That's hurtful, disrespectful, and dehumanizing. How dare you? Ooh, I get a Greta moment. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you ask me what 5 things I did last week? You're not even treating me as a human being. The indignity.
You can disagree with what we may have been doing on a political standpoint, but we're people and we're humans. And the confusion with the emails.
The confusion with the emails. I'm not going to keep reading it. This was confusing for her. This was dehumanizing for her. Get a grip. See, these people, do you know what they are? They went to college for drama. That's what they went to college for. This is the girl from drama class. Oh. This administration, it's cruel. Oh, I feel faint. I feel lightheaded. Oh, the dehumanization. Oh.
The tone of the emails we were receiving didn't seem to take that into account. And so it's just, you have people who dedicated their entire lives to this, and now you've got 15 minutes to clear out your office.
Do you know what I didn't hear these Karens crying about? Do you guys remember when the Keystone Pipeline was being built and you had, you had pipe fitters and wrenchers and mechanics and I forget some of the other systems, welders. You had something like 20 or 30,000 people that were working on the Keystone Pipeline. And they got laid off. The Biden administration was like, nope, we're not going to do Keystone Pipeline. There were no emails. There were no asking a chance for you to reply. There was no, hey, could you tell us or verify your job? Nope. It was, well, you're now unemployed. And when conservatives online and blue collars online on the old Twitter before Elon Musk bought it, and they said, hey, these are jobs that are important to Americans. Do you know what the snarky leftists and most importantly, the journalists, people like this, the journalists on Twitter said, I guess you better learn to code. You better learn a new job. Guess you're fired. These are the same people. These are the same people that cheered on the blue collar workers, which were, of course, 95% men that got laid off from this pipeline. And when those guys said, what are we supposed to do? And they said, learn to code, learn to code. And their snarky voices. Well, bitch, learn to code, I guess.
And the amount of security, DHS officers that are in there, the measures of security we had to go through to a building we used to work in is incredibly disrespectful. And I think again, people seem to forget that we're not just faceless bureaucrats, we're actually people who have...
Oh, you're not faceless bureaucrats, you're people? Like the pipe fitters? Like the pipe fitters and all the other welders and everybody they got. See, again, they're so short-sighted. They will cheer on when somebody they don't like, they don't respect, or they don't know loses their jobs. But the minute it's them, this is disrespectful. This is highly irregular. This is so wrong. We're going to cry today. We're going to have a protest, and we're going to sit out front. We're going to cry. We're going to hold hands. We're going to sing Kumbaya, and this administration just needs to go. It's the same thing, bitch. It's the same thing. You cheer on other people you hate.
Have family, who have plans, who had aspirations, and now I just watched my career plan kind of go up in flames.
USAID staff were asked to go into the building for 15 minutes to collect their belongings. They haven't been allowed in the building in a couple of weeks. Many of them had left shoes and pens and knickknacks from all of their travels, and I'm out here to support their work.
I don't think we're...
Wait a minute. Now, I have seen people, I'll come back to where we are in this interview. I am seeing a lot of people walking out with rolling luggage. There was look at these ladies with she's got 2 rolling luggage cases. So how do you have that much shit at work? How do you have suitcases worth of crap at work? What are you doing? Like what? Like you're not a fashion designer with 50 articles of clothes. What are you doing that you need to take literally suitcases to pack up your office? You're not an executive in the corner office.
I think we're lazy, government employees. I think we actually do a huge amount of work on behalf of the taxpayer. And I personally always thought about the fact that we were using taxpayer resources, like everything that I did. I just never would have expected, again, when we last left this building, that we would be walking back in under these circumstances.
The woman out here peeling the tape off of the covering of the sign. Congratulations. Well, you know what's really weird? This woman had been fired. I was shocked to find this out. This woman had been fired, and she went out there and she took the tape off of the sign, and magically she was hired again. Apparently, and I didn't know this, putting the tape over the sign fired everybody, and then when you take the tape off the sign, everybody was rehired. Or it didn't do shit, so go home. You know, whether it's women in government, women in these jobs, women in all this stuff, everything turns into a protest. Everything is about their feelings. Everything is about, it's just, no wonder nothing gets done anymore. I remember, if you guys have not watched Mad Men, the TV show, go watch Mad Men. Go rent it, go watch it. That's how business used to be done. Guys would show up, they'd drink whiskey during the day while they brainstorm. They'd work really hard, sometimes late in the night. They'd bang their secretaries, and then they'd go home to a loving wife to cook them dinner and their kids and help them put to bed. But you know something? The work got done. At least the work got done. Now that doesn't even happen.
I think also a decent bit of shock of this is happening, this is real, I'm going to leave this building and never walk in again.
It was really sinking in.
Yeah, it's very final.
So what? Women interviewing women about how they feel, about what they think, about the feelings that they had about feelings. Who cares? More Karens filing out of the office to smattering applause of other women that were also fired, but are now standing outside and in support of the other women that are fired for being fired. Don't forget, we have the cringe music. There's Barry, the local special needs dude. I gotta keep muting this because otherwise the music will get me copyright on YouTube. Oh, stunning and brave. Thank you. It's ladies clapping for ladies walking out of the building. I think I've seen one man in this entire video. All women doing absolutely nothing for our freaking government. I take that back. I take that back. You know, I've been saying they don't do anything. Actually, they did an awful lot. They did. I seriously mean that. They actually did. I found out what a lot of them did. I'll be playing that here momentarily. Oh, here's Mapes. Here's Mapes. She's going to cry about every day about how she got fired, and then she's going to tell us all about the Fremen and the spice of life.
That we were providing support and care to humanity around the world because it's the right thing to do. And that made me feel proud no matter who was president. And now I don't know what to do. And I have cried every day. I think that that's normal. I have a 15-month-old at home, and I'm looking at him and thinking, well, what's this country that we're now living in? We're doing.
I got fired. What is this country we're living in? What is this country coming to? What kind of society do we live in where I can get fired? These are coddled children. They've never been in the work world in their lives, a real work world. I mean, getting rid of government workers is like trying to remove terminal cancer from your brain. It's damn near impossible. Craziness, I tell you. Never had a real job in her life. Because many of you know, just like I know, because I've been in the work world for 40 years, you better be good. And if you rest on your laurels for too long, you're packing. Or at least you miss the raise, you get less work, then they next layoff time, it's your time. Like, what place can you just be lazy all day? What kind of world are we living in where women can be fired? Notice again, all of them women, every single one a woman.
Work for the American public. We're here for safety. And we're patriots. We love our country. We love our country. That's why we're taking these jobs that don't pay us in the private sector. I'm an accountant. I could get a private sector job tomorrow, but I care about this country and I want to be here.
All of our networks have been dismantled. You know, there's no jobs for us here in DC. I don't know if there are jobs for us, period.
I know this is really hard to hear, so if you're just listening, I apologize. But basically, this is, most of them are summing up their work worlds, and they're saying, clucking chickens. That's what you're getting. I was very important, and this shouldn't happen to me.
A lot of people's professional lives have been completely ruined, and I want to know how the senators are going to support us.
I want to know how the senators are going to support us. How are they going to give us resources? Spoiler alert. Go get a fucking job. Like the rest of us. When you get fired, go get another job. You're not getting support from the government anymore. You're not getting handouts. They're not going to give you resources. Go get a job. That's what we do. See, when they're not used to the work world. Straight out of high school, straight out of college, get a government job. Big Daddy government giving me handouts. Wait. I need to go into the office? I need to explain 5 reasons why I'm getting paid? How dare you?
How dare you?
What do you mean I got to tell you what I do? I'm not telling you anything. What do you mean I'm fired? Go get a job.
How are they going to make sure that people's families are taken care of? We're just witnessing the entire industry is going down. And what are the senators going to do about it?
Well, what are the senators going to do about it? No, what are you going to do about it? What, straight from college with a feminist basket weaving understudy degree, straight into our government. They think they're set for life, and then they're going to get they work for 20, 25 years for the government, and then they get a pension. That's why we're going bankrupt, ladies, people like you. And listen, they're just crying. How are they going to pay for all my stuff? What are they going to give me? Go get a job.
To be honest, our entire industry is imploding because they are demolishing USAID in the wood chipper. A lot of the work that we did at USAID promotes soft power, promotes our image around the world for America. And if you don't invest in this, then you will pay a lot more in defense, and it puts everybody at risk.
We're cutting off millions of children from food to save ourselves like pennies on the dollar.
If we're giving out 100 million, that means we probably originally gave out 500 million. And then after all the vultures in our government and all these corporate or government agencies took their cut, then we're giving out 100 million. So we're actually saving dollars on the penny.
again, less than 1% of our budget. Like, that's not a saving. And this work is literally life and death for.
It's literally life and death for some people, she says. She is right about that. Legitimately, she is right about that. But we're getting there.
On people, so it's not a savings. It doesn't matter.
Let's see, which video did I want to show? This one. Okay, remember those patriots, everybody? Remember those women, the patriots that are just serving their country? And this is money that puts food in a lot of children's mouths. It's saving lives. We need to do this for American soft power, and it's going to cost you more in defense. This is 37 seconds long, coming from a Senate or Congress hearing. I'm not, or a Senate or House hearing. I'm not sure which it is. Let's take a listen, shall we?
Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You could just read the Taliban is classified, and if you don't know, the Taliban's in charge of Afghanistan. They're classified as a specially designated global terrorist organization by OFAC. So post-2021, so this is last year, 2024, we spent $697 million of the taxpayers' dollars in Afghanistan, including $534,719,000 in change from USAID in Afghanistan.
Now, this is 5 minutes long. We won't go through the whole thing. But here's the farmers in Afghanistan. Here's the wonderful farmers that our money has been going to help in these other countries.
Mr. Roman, are you aware that we are sending $40 million a week to the Taliban?
Yes, sir.
Can you name other instances of foreign aid going to terrorist organizations?
We have assisted al-Shabaab in Somalia. There's been instances of the Hamzi network in Sudan, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Kataib al-Hezbollah, Hayat Tahrir al-Shams in Syria. Dozens of terror organizations have received indirect assistance from U.S. foreign aid.
Oopsie doopsie poopsie. All the little Miss Patriots that are doing all the, I just care about my country and we're just doing expanding American soft power, and whoops. Turns out we're kind of supporting the terror clubs around the world. $40 million a week to some of them. And it's these women that just got fired that were doing it. It was these women that are crying about, we're feeding everybody and we're helping the world and we want to just keep America safe. No, bitch, you're funding it. Your money is going to this. And lastly, this is kind of funny. This is how the media writes about this email, the Elon Musk email. Just give me a couple points of what you did last week. How do the journalists write about it? Doge email throws federal agencies into chaos and confusion. Our federal agencies are so wimpy and soft. A simple please reply with this throws them into chaos. We've got a big problem in our government if that's the way it is. Got a big problem if these women are crying and whining because they're being held to the bare minimum, the slightest accountability. And then lastly, Elon Musk Doge sends cruel and disrespectful email to all U.S. federal employees asking just one question. What did you do last week? Let me know what you did for your job. Justify your job. Just give me a couple reasons. Oh, this is cruel and disrespectful. No. These people are so weak. If this is who we fill our workforce with, China will be all over us on like white on rice in 10 years. We are a failing nation if we're just filled with a bunch of Karens that cry over every little thing.